Hey everyone, welcome. It wasn't long ago when I had the chance to look at this EDS OX version 2, the wireless mountain biking upgrade kit. Since then, you guys have had a lot of questions in regards to compatibility and tips and tricks. So in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to try to cover. And with two versions of the EDS OX in the market today, the big question was, is the old shifter compatible with the new derailleur? Is the new shifter compatible with the old derailleur? And the simple answer is no. You cannot mix old EDS OX components with new EDS OX version 2 components. And if you saw GEX on the derailleur that I'm holding up here, it's because this is the same derailleur used by the gravel groupset, the GEX, and the OX version 2 that I have installed on my hardtail right now. Those two are compatible, so OX version 2 derailleur and GEX derailleur can use either the drop bar shifter that came with GEX or the new shifter pod that was shipped with version 2. I'm going to point you to that longer video on the OX version 2 for all the details of this new group set. Clear as mud? Let me know below. Next, I'm going to give you a couple more suggestions that you guys might want to implement when installing these derailleurs, and a couple of fixes or workarounds, and one must do when installing this new crop of derailleurs from WHEELTOP. The first thing, and maybe the most important, would be the fact that some of you would struggle to align this derailleur with the smallest cog. I was lucky, and on my bike, both version 1 and version 2 allowed me to align the derailleur with the smallest cog. That is assuming that you know the position of the limit screw, one here in the back and one under this cover, mechanical physical limits that should be outside of the electronic range of adjustment. Yes, I am talking about adjusting this with the WHEELTOP app, and you can see mine being maxed out, so I can see how, if my frame was designed a bit differently, I would probably run out of adjustments. Now, I believe WHEELTOP knows about this, and I'm saying that because if you look here in the box of both the GEX and the TX group sets, in this little bag you're gonna see an adapter for your USB charging cable, but also this tiny little washer. Interestingly, this little washer is not included in any of the mountain biking kits, even though from your comments I understand that some of you folks really needed it. Here's the dimensions of it. This is 1 millimeter thickness, and internal dimensions is all that matters, 10 millimeters. Externally doesn't matter as much. This is almost 14 millimeters. Obviously, you're gonna slide this little washer right on the installation bolt of your derailleur, and that's gonna push the derailleur outwards, meaning that now you have pushed this within the electronic adjustment allowed by the application. That's fix number one. Also, looking at that bolt one more time, you can see how there's no Loctite on it whatsoever. I would highly recommend to apply some before installing the derailleur. And take a closer look at this Loctite blue, because it looks like for the OX version of this derailleur has this tiny bolt here underneath. Not only that it was loose on mine, but you can imagine how you would lose it on the trail. So check that bolt, put some Loctite on it and tighten it. The GEX that I have right here is just fine. And also my old OX version 1, it looks just like rivets. So this doesn't have the same or similar issues. Another thing that I want to point your attention to is the Jockey wheels used here. Even though we have ball bearings inside, you can see how these have those metal covers and not rubber. I would highly recommend to grab some grease and just cover the surface of it to keep it protected. Needless to say, that's gonna attract dirt, so you gotta stay on top of that maintenance wise, just to clean them, re-lube them, and reassemble your derailleur. Now, if you're thinking jockey wheel upgrade, these use 12-tooth jockey wheels, same dimension. The thickness is the standard 8 millimeters or so with the dust caps, and the overall dimension here is about 50 millimeters, so 5 centimeters. If you're thinking about maybe borrowing jockey wheels from something like Shimano XT, this is ball bearing, but you have rubber dust covers. This is slightly bigger though, 55 millimeters, and I have a piece of chain on it on purpose. So that's the Shimano jockey wheel installed on this version 2, and you can see how it fits barely, but you're coming very close to that tab at the bottom of the cage. I think you would be fine if that's something that you need to do at some point. If you go for the SRAM jockey wheels, this is the mechanical eagle, and this top jockey, this is going to be 50 millimeters diameter. So this is obviously another option for upgrading, if you want to call it that, your GX or the OX version 2 derailleurs from WheelTop. And one last thing that I wanted to share with you in this video is the actual adjustments that these derailleurs need to make them work properly with SRAM or Shimano cassettes. Right off the bat, these derailleurs come set up with Shimano spacing, not SRAM. So chances are that if you install one of these with a Shimano 12-speed cassette, it's gonna work just fine as soon as you do that initial calibration. However, if you use a SRAM cassette like I do, you're gonna have to fine-tune some of those gears, and this is where the WheelTop system is different and would allow you to fine-tune each gear, something that no other wireless drivetrains allows you to do today. Now, this video is getting kind of long. I will probably do a short video just to tell you my settings for the cassette, but I am curious to hear if you guys run into any other issues with this new EDS OX version 2. Oh, and one more thing. I didn't mention it, but I do not recommend to use that fine adjust or initial calibration from the shifter itself. I would recommend to use the actual WheelTop app, because that little button, it's either super hard to move, or in the new system, it's kind of ambiguous how you even enable or disable the two operating modes. Going back to my question, do you guys have any other tips and tricks that you would love to share with us? What do you think about the EDS OX version 2? Do you like the damper that's in here? Any other things that you came across? Let us know in the comments below. Hope you found this useful. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, hope to see you folks on the trails. Cheers, guys. Cheers.